by team captain, preseason All-SEC offensive lineman, 93 rating on NCAA this year. We got Fernando Carmona joining the show, and it looks like he just dropped, but he's coming back with this picture here in a second. I think he hears me on the backside. You still hear me, Fernando?
I hear you. My bad, man. I don't know what just happened.
Oh, man, you're good. Take your time. As he gets that figured out, I'll go ahead and pull you down real quick. Take your time. Get your shot figured out. Excited to have Fernando joining us, and it's going to be quite a treat. So what we're going to do today, as he gets that figured out, we got to talk tape, all right? And y'all know, if y'all watch 4th and 5, we are big on watching film, watching tape, breaking everything down. I would say one of the bigger questions of this season so far, you got two. It's going to go between what's Taylor Green going to be like, or what's the offensive line going to look like? Well, we're going to have Fernando talk to us about that here in just a second. I can see him on the other side trying to get that stuff figured out. He'll join us in just a second. But so I got tape. I got a lot of clips popped up. We're also going to go through the lineup. You can see right here. This is from the spring earlier this year, and I'll bring this up when Fernando gets back. You can see this was Grant Cook's. This was his preseason potential starting lineup. All right, so we got Corey Robinson, left tackle, Fernando, left guard. That actually turns out to be true. Grant Cook was right on it. We got Caden Kittler, and we got Kobe Brenham and Amarian Harris. Now, that's what it looked like at the end of spring ball. All right, a lot has changed. They've been working out. They've been doing a lot. And so we'll go ahead and take a look and see what is cracked up and rolling as far as moving into fall camp, which starts here. Oh, man, how far are we away? I'm trying to think. They got how many days away from fall camp? 11 days from fall camp? All right, I feel like I should know that. I feel like I need to text Fernando. I can see him over here scrapping around trying to figure out how to get this pulled back up. But, yeah, it's going to be fun. And so what I did for him, and I'll kind of give you all a little sneak peek right now before we kind of get things cracked up and rolling. We're going to go through tape, and there's a whole bunch of plays that we're going to go through. And I've already showed him a few of these. And as soon as I popped this one up, Fernando immediately said, "Oh, no, I remember that one." All right, I see his camera being pulled back up. He's getting situated. Hold on, I'm going to let you get that set up. And hold on, wait. I wouldn't show you this, but I'm going to let him get a little. Actually, y'all go ahead and look at him. Look at him get set up right here. There he is.
My bad, y'all. That was on me.
No, you're good. You're good. You're all set up. I can tell you were hustling getting it right because you just wiped your face off. It was sweating in there trying to get the shot set up. All right, we're good.
Let's get it.
All right, we're locked in. Take your time. Take your time. First of all, nice setup. All right. Like I said, things are a lot different from when I was in college. I had about $4.28 in my bank account. I don't think that's what y'all are rocking with nowadays. Y'all are doing a really good job taking advantage of some great opportunities with NIL. But you have this obviously set up for your podcast that you and your brother do, correct?
Yes, sir. Pin and Pull podcast. Started doing it last year at the start of the season and had a great time, man. It was just a great way for me and my brother to kind of do something outside of football together. And this has always been our dream to do, some type of sports talk. And sure enough, it just happened here in Arkansas.
Yeah. Hey, look, the cool thing about this show, man, it's not like we're on ESPN or anything like that. Maybe one day. Get situated. Take your time. See, I've been doing this streaming enough. It looks like your camera battery potentially died, and now you're on your webcam on your computer. All right.
There we go.
All right, looks good. Now we're comfy. Like I said, we're sit back, we're relaxing. Thanks for making it work. But like I said, you got a great podcast. I actually I'll watch it quite often. Big fan of the podcast. Big fan of you. And I don't know if you know this about me. I like to keep it real. All right. That's a thing of mine. I've just been consistent. A lot of the way that I critique and watch film and talk about players, I learn mostly from Coach Bobby Petrino. All right. So that's just all I know. And it was funny. One day I was sitting on my phone. This was a year ago. And I was watching some clips that the Razorbacks put out. And I remember y'all posting a clip after practice, all right? And I reposted this. You had the microphone. You was with Hogs Plus, and you were kind of going down the lineup. And I just remember everybody talking about fun. A couple of people were singing, and I reposted it and kind of got some heat about it. But I was just like, what in the hell is happening right now? And I was just like, because I know what those practices are like. And it just caught me off guard. But the longer I have paid attention to your game, the longer I have paid attention to your personality, at first I was concerned, like, this guy's just goofing around. But then I was like, this guy's a certified dog. And he's also bringing that element of having fun to the game. I don't see too many players at the college level that can do both. It's like some people have the ability to turn the switch on and off. You have that ability. A lot of people don't. And so just talk about your personality and approach to the game and how you're able to bring that fun side, but also take things very seriously.
Yeah, no, it's a true blessing. This is something I've been working on for 5 years now. And at the beginning of my career, I kind of was, that funny, goofy guy, nice guy on the field. And it took me a while to, learn how to, I got to channel and flip that switch when I hit the field. And my first coach at San Jose helped me a lot, showing me how to, just kind of channel that anger and just kind of that attitude of being a lineman. And then, off the field, just letting it be free, having fun. And so it's taken me 5 years and I'm still learning, man. It's every day I'm trying to get better with it. And so I feel like I'm doing a good job, but, there's still days where I struggle with, trying to flip that switch.
Yeah, no, yeah, you do a great job. I was at one of your spring practices this past year. And this was very encouraging to see. And I can tell you're taking on that leadership role. I was watching a drill. And then, you got your first team, essentially, at that point. Then you got the second string. Then you got the third string. Y'all all line up, and you go through this drill. And then, the guys who are the ones go up, and they knock out the drill. Then the twos go up. At this point, you're like, okay, you just saw how it's done. Don't mess it up. Then the threes get up, and then a couple of those guys were struggling, and Coach Eric Mateos was about to say something, but you were the one who stepped up and said, hey, guys, this is BS. Lock in, tighten up, take these drills serious. I was just like, that's awesome to see that the leadership is coming from within the team. Are there a couple other guys that are taking that leadership role to the next level that you've noticed so far this year, offensively and defensively?
Yeah, there's actually been a ton of players. I think this is kind of one of the strong suits to our team this year is the leadership aspect. And so you have players like Corey Robinson, we just brought him in, but he's stepping up in a big time. Cam Ball, been around. Larry Worth, Steven Dix, Sorry, I could really go down the line and, it's just a lot of players holding each other accountable and then holding the leaders accountable. And so it's not really just coming from me, but it's coming from, I'd probably say 25 plus people on the team. And, that's what really makes a strong team. And I think that's what's going to make us so special this year is, our leadership.
Big time right now. Once again, we got Fernando Carmona. If you have any questions, Fernando, now is the time to go ahead and get things rocked up and rolling. All you have to do is leave a question in the chat. Look, we got people watching from all over the place. We got somebody watching from Brazil right now. Razorback fans locked in. We got people, once again, talking about how pumped up they are. We got questions coming. If you have any questions for Fernando, now's the time. What personal goals have you set for yourself this season? We already got the preseason SEC All-American. Are there any other things you kind of have your eye on? I know it sounds like I'm telling you, what are the things you worried about for yourself, but I think as competitors, we do look at a couple things that kind of let us know where we stand, when it comes to the college rankings, right?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing for me is just being able to have a consistent 12 games this year. I think that's something I struggle with very badly. Last year, you've seen it in my tape a lot. One game I'll have a really good game. Then next week, it's just a big drop off. And so just finding some type of consistency each and every week and just kind of knocking out my personal goals for those weeks. And at the end of the day, I want to be first team all SEC. I want to be an All-American in the country. And, I feel like these are goals that I know I could get and I will reach. But it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take me being a leader to the group and, having a good, strong, solid offensive line and just kind of going in each and every week, just kicking butt.
And it's about improving. One of the best ways to improve is to watch the tape, learn from your mistakes. A mistake's not a mistake until you decide not to learn anything from it. And so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pull up some clips from last year. All right. Thing about it is it's hard to really get a base off what it's going to look like this year because we got a whole lot of new faces. All right?
Yeah.
So I would say that's the most challenging thing when it comes to me trying to give an opinion to people what I think the team is going to do this year, I'm like, hell, I don't know. I ain't really seen half of them, if not most of them. Actually, before I get into this clip, what is that like? Trying to build chemistry every single year because you got a whole new roster.
Yeah, definitely. Last year it was really weird because I was that new guy coming in, and it was just kind of that weird, changing of scenery, meeting new people. But this year being the guy who transferred in last year, and now having all these new transfers, I know how they feel, and I feel like a lot of the players that we had last year that transferred in are those leaders now, and they know how it felt. And so I think we've all just really embraced each other, and we've accepted, we're going to have a lot of transfers, and these are going to be the people that we roll with this year. And I think we've really created a good brotherhood just because of, we knew how it felt coming in last year and being those new guys, and just showing love and just becoming a team early.
And I just want to let people know in the chat, they're starting to go a little crazy in the chat right now. They got a lot of questions. You can see it pulled up over here. I will get to those here in just a second. All right, I'll just give me a second. But this is a former Razorback great. He was actually on the show last week. Anthony Lucas. He was an all-time leading receiver at Arkansas. Tell him we want to win. He's a big fan of yours. We were talking about you not too long ago. So keep on sending in your questions. We'll get to those here in just a second. But I want to go ahead and get to some tape. All right. So now, before we do this, I need your help on this one, all right? Because I'm going to be with Coach Petrino and Taylon Green this Thursday, all right? And so I got to hang out with Coach P. Try your best not to say what anything is. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Use code words and all that stuff, all right? Because I don't have time for him coming to me saying, Williams, you're telling all of our stuff on your stupid podcast. All right, I ain't got time for that, all right?
That was a little bit too good. You definitely heard that before.
Oh, man, I tell you, we at practice, people all the time talk about, what's Coach Petrino like. I think there was one practice we were running boss either way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we had a little these are, I think, a little bit more commonly used terms, so I'm okay saying this. We had to eat working up to a backer. I had a little technique working out. And I had bad step, bad aiming point, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And for about 30 minutes, he just kept on telling me, how does it feel that I let the entire state of Arkansas down, Williams? I'm just like, Coach, oh, my gosh, give me a break, You let the whole state down. And then he would always say, what are you trying to get me effing fired? I was like, I'm not
no,
trying.
Coach.
You know what I mean? No. That's not me. You know how he gets.
I know. I've heard that before.
So let's get into some tape right here. This is against Ole Miss. And I kind of got this broken down in a few things. I'm going to go through these at first. These are some of my favorite things that I saw that popped up on tape. All right. Now, when I play this first play, you're going to be like, why is that one of your favorite things that pop up on tape? It's more the response. But this is going to be against let me get that off of there. Yeah, this will be against good old Ole Miss. Wasn't the hottest day, but you're going to see Fernando. You can see him at left tackle. All right. So he's responsible for doing he has to reach this guy backside cutoff. That is an extremely difficult block. Extremely difficult, especially with flow going away. But you still got to get the block. That's what we signed up for. That's what it takes to be All-American. It's what it takes to be All-SEC. So we see right here, great technique, wasn't able to get this block. Let this guy cross your face, end up getting a tackle for a loss, 1st and 10, okay? So that's that play. They all can't be touchdowns. We get it. And so not too much further on the same drive, you have another reach block, almost the exact same look, an extremely difficult block. But you're like, all right, let me hop on this horse and let me try my best to make something happen here. And you can see right here, takes a great angle, gets just enough. And if you see it from this end zone angle, once again, extremely difficult to get there, but he holds him up just enough right there to let that running back get through. Without that block, this ends up being another tackle for a loss. And so I think that's very big time of a player to have bad plays. And when his number gets called again, all right, let me tighten up and get it right this time. How many times does that pop up in your career where you have to put the BS aside and move on to the next play and get it better the next time?
Yeah, definitely a lot more in the SEC coming from the Mountain West. Sometimes you could do that BS and get away with it. And I've learned that a lot this year. You BS, you're going to be put on a highlight tape, like on that first clip that you shown. And so, it really takes a lot of, commitment to your craft and knowing the technique that you're about to be doing every single play. And like you said, this all it came down to is a simple setting the angle and driving off that angle. And that's what I got accomplished on this one. But that first clip, my angle was off, and that will show up big time. And it showed in that tackle for loss.
And then you get to, okay, we got our big, strong brutes. But to be a good offensive lineman, man, you got to be smart. You have to understand, technique. You have to understand, fronts. You have to see pre-snap reads. This is a clip against LSU. And I thought this was special watching this, based off the protection, based off you kind of understanding who's going to be the most dangerous man. You can see Carmona set out to the defensive end, but he keeps his eyes inside. That small little hesitation on the D end holds him up just enough. And then in football, it's always who's the most dangerous man, who has the shortest path to the quarterback. He has his eyes on this D end. He's kind of out there taking a sweet little time. Still notice this blitzer coming up. He ends up taking the most dangerous man. And that right there, I mean, I think that's next level stuff, especially in this slide protection. I think that's special, and it gives Talon just enough time to get that ball off. So you got a guy who's extremely athletic and a guy who's smart. And then you have to have a guy who has a little edge to him. You got to be a little dirty, all right? And whenever you get a free play as an offensive lineman, you got to go hunt for some ribs, all right? You just got to be that dude, all right? Yeah. So you see this little pass set right here. It's a little slide protection again. No one comes. He's eyeing it down. He's like, okay, I'm good. Now let's go hunting. All right, who do I got? And take a look at this poor little dude right here. Served him up on a silver platter. And it's plays like this, Fernando, that, I mean, obviously this guy's not going to make a play, but you want to make sure you put something in the back of his head of like, damn, it's going to be a long day playing against Arkansas.
Slow down a little bit.
Slow down a little bit. What's your thought process in this clip right here?
Yeah, as a tackle, you don't really get too many of those rib shots. And so, when you kind of do get them, you got to take advantage of them. And Keyshawn in this clip had him hemmed up. And like you said, you just kind of want to let him know that you're here and that, it's not going to be fun for the next few quarters that you're playing against Arkansas, especially the Arkansas offensive line.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and play this right here. As you can see, give me some ribs on a platter. Let's go. That's fun football right there. Offense. Oh, tackle, love that. It looks like you're saying a little something. I hope you are.
I might have said something. I can't remember.
Something. All right, let's go ahead and keep it going. And we talked about the aggressiveness and what it takes to move forward. And I'll say this too. Those plays right there, that great pickup that you had, that big play, Arkansas gets moving against LSU. And then you get to a spot right here, and O-linemen always have to be the bouncers, the enforcers, right? You see this player. Now, this dude for LSU was an absolute dog.
Yes, definitely.
And Weeks, I believe, was his name. And he gets a little extra right here, all right? And this is what you want from your offensive lineman, all right? So he gets a little throw down right there. You said, whoa. Hold on now, big dog. You ain't finna do that to my guy. You're on the prowl, and you have to let him know we're not going to slide. Let that slide. And look, it's not just you. It's your whole crew. You know what I mean? That's a pretty cool freeze frame right there. Talk about the intensity element that you need to bring as an offensive lineman. Then I'm going to show you another clip, probably one of my most favorite clips of you of the year.
Yeah, no, I take great pride in, my wide receivers, my running backs, my quarterbacks. And, I make sure whether it be practice, games, or whatever it may be, nobody's going to be doing anything extra to them. And if they are, we're going to address it. And I think that's kind of something that, I say in the offensive line room, we're not going to take any type of BS from anybody, whether, it be our own offense or whether it be our own defense. I'm going to address this situation, and, people are going to respect our running backs, our quarterbacks, and our wide receivers.
So that brings me to this play. Probably one of my favorite plays of the year. And I got a weird thing going on, all right? So, and people are going to be, DJ, you're crazy, okay? It's 14-13, 2nd and 9. We're backed up behind our 10-yard line. And Fernando Carmona, he gets a flag on this play, all right? Everybody, what are we doing? And this is like, you got to be smarter than that. You got to be smarter than that. Sometimes O-linemen got to set the tone, all right? So all these clips, it looks like you're doing too much, all right? But that's what I like best about tape when you go back and watch it, all right? Does it look unnecessary? 1,000%. But if you go back and watch the play, after Braylon Russell breaks one tackle, little man number 12, he stands up over him, all right? He starts standing up over, he's talking stuff, he's taunting your guy, all right? Your guy's on the ground. You got this guy over here feeling all big and bad. He decides to taunt. And then that's when you come in with a nice little, get up off my guy. You know what I mean? So I think plays like that, sometimes I'm not going to advocate for a penalty.
No,
but
definitely not.
Sometimes it's like, okay, I'll take that one, right?
Right. Yeah. I try to stay away from penalties. I like to, kind of teeter that line as much as possible. But definitely got to be smarter, especially something like that where it's early in the game. Obviously, I want to let them know, like, you're not going to stand over my guy. You're not going to make a show. You're not going to make a highlight out of standing over my guy. I'm going to end that right then and there. But got to refrain from the penalties, and I got to be smarter with those kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm taking care of my guys till I die.
Yeah. Now, you talked about toting that line. There was another play in this game. I'm not going to show the clip. Sometimes those emotions fly. All right.
Yeah.
Lessons learned from that. And only reason I'm bringing this up because people just been asking all about it whenever we posted that you were going to come on. And
I figured.
I aggressively just want to say, do you not know what happens every single play that you don't see on tape? But sometimes things get put on tape, and now we're sitting here talking about it. Lesson learned from that one?
No, 1,000%. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier was like, you got to flip that switch to a certain extent. And so, it's kind of always been a problem for me, being able to find that fine line. And, that clip I'm not proud about at all. And, never happen again.
All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, let's keep this. So those were the things that I really liked. All right, now let's get into the offensive line play. I think for us to be successful this year as a team, one thing we got to have is a very confident Taylon Green. He's got to feel comfortable in the pocket. All right, and I think we've seen stuff on tape where we understand why he's probably not sometimes. And then there's sometimes on tape when he is looking comfortable in the pocket, you start seeing plays like this. This is a 2nd and 13. You can see a night. Well, first of all, I can't talk. I was shocked that Andrew Armstrong didn't get drafted. I don't know what is going on, right? But right here, they have a little stun up front. Lineman picks this up. Beautiful. Nice little pocket. Taylon's able to step into a throw. And then once again, Armstrong, he's just unreal. Another play right here. O-line does a great job, gives Taylon a pocket. This is against LSU. He's able to look down the field, step into a throw dimes on the sideline. And I wanted to stop this right here because sometimes people are back and forth with Taylon Green. This throw, him fading to his left, look at this throw right here. I mean, this is big league across the body, fading to your left. Where else do you put the ball? There's nowhere else you can put it to get that catch. And so you talk about if you give this guy time and confidence, there really is no telling how well he can do. I'm going to keep it rolling, just showing a whole bunch of times linemen did their part. You're going to see there's going to be a nice little delayed blitz here. You do a great job coming off that block, picking up the blitz. That was a little late. Gives Taylon a great pocket. 2nd and 20. Once again, Andrew Armstrong gets into a manageable 3rd down. I don't know what this BS was.
I don't know what it is either.
I don't know, like in a defensive coordinator meeting, when they put this on tape, like who in there didn't step up and say, this probably isn't the best idea. When you saw this formation for the first time, I mean, are y'all thinking, are they trying to give us all the time in the world? What are we doing?
You know what? Some of these things that you see out there, we got out there and we were like, man, whoever comes to us, we're going to block them. And I don't know how long it's going to take them, but let's just protect our tails off because I don't know what the heck this is. That was not on the scouting report.
No, that is I put that in the category of trash. I don't know what their defensive coordinator was thinking on that one. But yeah, but still picks it up. Taylon comfortable in the pocket. 3rd and 6. Get it to your boy Armstrong. Convert on 3rd down. And then this is another one too. Another great pickup. Taylon's able to step into the pocket. Now, Blackstock, we got to get a little better on that little guard position. Sometimes we struggle with his footwork back in the day. But even on this one, Taylon, confident, throws a dime. Now, I think this was a missed call. I mean, dude clearly launched. Poor little Broden. This, in my opinion, I'm not one trying to make excuses. I think the officials missed this one. I mean, we saw the replays. I was shocked that they picked this flag up. And so I only bring up this play to also bring up the other play. This is a number 8 ranked LSU. Then you get another one right here. Beautiful pocket. Talon steps up, delivers a nice one. And then once again, what are we doing? Didn't get the call on a pass interference. Those just killed it. And then going on to the LSU game, we all know the little batted up ball that they intercepted. But y'all are in this game, and this is the 8th ranked team in the country. The same thing with Texas. The same thing with so many other teams this year. Y'all were right there. That has to give a lot of people some encouragement when watching the tape of saying this Arkansas team was probably a little bit better than the record showed last year.
No, 1,000%. I think you hit it on the nose. And like you said, there was times in games where we just didn't give Talon enough time to make the plays that he can make and, be the player he can be. Because when we give him time, that kid, he's one of the best players in the nation. And so it's up to the offensive line this year to just give him a little bit extra time because there's wide open people in this offense. And once we give him that time, you're going to see the show that he puts on this year.
Okay. I mean, you saw a little glimpse of what it looks like when you give him time and he's confident and he's delivering. Now I'm going to show some clips. You know me. I like to show good and I like to be real at the same time. Take a look at a couple of these clips right here. This is some of the ones. And so you get into a situation. Now, everybody looks at this play, right? 4th and 3. And then you got Mr. Magic Man out here, right? Takes it to the house. Place goes crazy. This is where I get in my weird mindset, okay? So let's go ahead and roll this back real quick. And I think this play, even though it turned out, now I don't think we're going to play La Tech teams every week. You're going to come across some dogs, and this probably won't be the case a lot of the time. But when you get right here, clean pocket, Talon has no reason to pull this ball down and run. Zero reason. And look at this. Look at the options. You got crossing routes from Satania, and you got one coming from Armstrong. Both got their guys beat, and he's looking right at them. This is kind of my biggest thing with him is this is where trust, you and your unit, y'all come in right here. Because earlier in this game, there's a few times that pressure did come through on things that should have been easily picked up, but now he's not trusting it. And so, yes, we score a touchdown, great, but like I said, this ain't LSU. This ain't Bama. That ain't Georgia out there. And then, you miss up on an opportunity. Even though he has the pocket, no reason to scramble, he comes out. And so sometimes that's when I think that you get in situations when you have lack of confidence. Sometimes you're able to do good, but most of the time it doesn't turn out that way. Another situation right here, too, of him leaving the pocket when he doesn't need to. We all know how the Ole Miss game was going, right? He had a great opportunity. Look at this pocket. Beautiful. All right. 3rd and 4. Armstrong, great slant route. No reason not to throw this ball, and for sure no reason to run. But I think he just has a little PTSD sometimes.
Yeah. And we broke that trust early with them.
Yeah. And this is where it gets difficult, too. You as an offensive lineman, how stressful is it when y'all have a great pocket, you block the guy where you need to, and then a quarterback runs outside that pocket? There goes that flag, That's
the worst feeling.
Yeah. And so, like I said, once we figure out these little things and have these trust things, you don't get a holding call right here. I mean, look at that pocket. You couldn't ask for anything more. But he gets out. Then you get the holding call. Those are just products of trust, and I think that's in a year one system with Coach Petrino. First of all, it's extremely complex. I don't care who you are. Trying to learn the ins and outs of that offense is insane. It's hard to build that trust, and I think we're looking at an example right here of how the trust will end up hurting the team. And we'll take another one. Look at this against Texas, number 3 team in the country, playoff team. Beautiful pocket, And so I think sometimes the O-line doesn't get enough credit like they should have last year, because I think if you're an offensive lineman, most times they talk about you is when you're doing something bad. You don't get a lot of the credit when it's due. This one right here, once again, no reason to leave, but you get into that PTSD Talon sometimes, and then we get a holding call right here. And so in these situations, what have y'all been doing in the offseason to kind of work on these things and to be able to help build Talon's trust in y'all? Obviously, it's hard to reenact live games, but where does it start?
I think it all starts in what we're doing after. We have OTAs that we're doing right now. And even after our workouts, we're going in there and we're getting full group indies. And, Taylor's getting his throws in with his wide receivers, but he gets to see, the offensive line is working. They're trying to get better. We're trying to improve our craft and show them that, we're going to protect them as much as we can this year.
Yeah, and that's just part of it. And like I said, I don't think people give y'all enough slack. They should look at the Razorback team when Coach Fernando first came and I was there. It was a hard watch, very hard watch, because we're thinking. You know how hard it is to execute at a high level in the SEC when you're thinking all the time? It's almost impossible. It makes you one step slower, and you can't afford that in this league. All right, so we saw Taylor escape the pocket when he didn't need to. All right, we saw him stay in the pocket and deliver. So where does this mistrust come from? I'm going to go through a few plays, and I would love for you to walk me through these and figure out, what maybe some people were thinking right here. I think it's as simple as they're just overthinking and it's making them play slow, but you may be able to give me some insight that I don't know yet. This is going to be the sack fumble for a touchdown against Ole Miss. And it looks to be, in my opinion, a slide protection. And I think Marion Harris sometimes struggled with trusting everyone else on the offensive line. The O-line, all five guys have to be on the same page to make this thing work. You got your guy in this slide protection. He doesn't come. That's fine. Then you got all these other guys responsible for sliding, and Marion Harris, who is out in yellow, he pretty much has anything that comes on the outside. But you're going to see from a different clip, pressure comes on the edge, and you can kind of see him hesitate a little bit. Why did this pop up so much on tape this year? Because I felt like we struggled with it a lot. You see him right here kind of jump down when he has his right guard coming out to him. What do you think the learning curve was there?
Yeah, so in this clip, it was honestly just as simple as the center calling the wrong ID. We had actually ID'd the middle guy right in the middle, and we were basically saying we got the 4 down in the middle guy.
Gotcha.
Obviously, we should have looked. I mean, I think he was trying to communicate that, the safety was capped. There was 3 over 3, and, we got to get out. And I mean, in the SEC, everything happens like that. And, I don't think he got it out in time, and that kind of led to the end decision. And, obviously this play happened.
I like it too. We can talk about our center because he's gone. All right. He's on the chopping block, baby. We can talk about him all day. All right. So you get this play right here. I'm curious, anybody at home, do y'all know the rules in college football? If a player steps out and they're the first player to touch the ball, is the ball not technically dead at that point? Am I making that up? Should this have been a touchback instead of a recovery for a touchdown? I don't know. I don't know the rules. I feel like I should know the rules.
I didn't even think about that. I don't
know if they caught that.
No, but that sounds right.
It does sound right. He's the first player to touch the ball after being out of bounds. I don't know. We got to talk about it. I like this too right here. Yeah, give me that. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at another play right here. Kind of the same thing that I saw pop up a lot. I think, Blackstock, as the season went on, he started to get better. But I think, once again, this is a thinking thing. This seems like a fairly easy slide protection. You got the back who has that backer up right next to you, responsible for that. And then the rest of these guys are sliding protection. But if you look at Blackstock right here, kind of slow with his feet, hesitates a little bit. I would like for him to get there as soon as possible, knowing slide protection and where everybody is. And really, you can't really overdo this. And kind of slow to the point right here. Are these things, too, you think in a year or two we'll be able to get to a little bit quicker?
Definitely. Like you said, it's just a lot of just overthinking and, just not being able to play as fast as you possibly can. And Blackstock's been working his tail off, man. I mean, from last year to this year, it's night and day. And just the way he comes into work, it's been really special to watch because, I think he's kind of heard everything on the outside and, he's kind of channeled that.
Nice. That's always promising, very promising to hear. All right, let's keep the clip rolling. You can see right here, Taylor just kind of looking, where do I go? So these are those type of plays that kind of put doubts in quarterback mind. And another thing I wanted to ask about is I saw kind of a theme of struggling with, I guess, identifying what's coming, maybe identifying the point, especially when they brought people up in the A-gaps. I saw that quite often. There was you could tell the wheels were just churning, like who has who. You can see, right, Ole Miss did this quite a few times, and I think they did this because other teams put it on tape. Let's put guys in the A-gaps and make them pick, make sure they are on the same page. But you can see right here, Chris Paul, former Razorback, does a little stunt where he acts like he's coming. He backs out. Guy comes through the A-gap, goes right past our center. And then you got, if you rewind it just a little bit more, even on this edge, Amarian Harris kind of in that category too. Who do I go for? I get you can't pick both. Pick one and stick to it. Make the quarterback just miss one. And that's what he end up doing right there. And then if you keep on going, once again, they did it again, put guys into the A-gap because they know Arkansas struggling with this. And then this time, Chris Paul, if he wanted to, he could have just ran straight for the quarterback. Center goes to the right, guard goes to the left. It looks like you are looking down as if y'all are letting the guy on the edge go, maybe reading hot off of him. That's what it looks like to me. Yep. And then if that guy comes, the quarterback just needs to know he's the furthest man away. That's where your danger's coming from. So get the ball out quick or throw it hot. One of the two. But you can see a little miscommunication right here. Ends up being a pick play. Didn't even really have to. What's going on right here? Because you can see, once again, based off your eyes, you're leaving the outside rusher alone, right? Was that right, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, that's the right move. It's a 5-down protection. We're squeezing that linebacker right now. And I think a lot of our issues last year was just coming down to trust. I think, we'd go into games and we weren't fully believing in, the game plan and, just trusting each other as players and as an offensive line. That's the last thing you need.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be a cohesive mind. And I'm going to just keep saying this, Fernando, as a theme. It takes time to do that. It takes time to do that.
It does.
And it takes tape like this. You got to watch this tape, learn from it. Because right here, you would love Blackstock, once again, squeezed down, understanding. You got Chris Paul. And like you can see right here, he's doing a pick play. He could have just ran straight to the quarterback. You know what I mean? But once again, learning tape, you hate to see it. But and then it even popped up in the Auburn game. And this is where we win this game, and Talon, he was magic man on this. But you can see Blackstock. Who is that at right guard? That is okay.
Josh
He's
Brown.
gone now too. All right.
Yep.
You can see them right before the snap. They're talking. That's the last thing you want on a short yardage situation. To say, hey, who you got? Who you got? You can see them literally talking to each other, and they end up letting a guy run straight through the A-gap untouched. Yeah, when you see this on tape, first of all, suplex. Who was that over there? I love that play. I don't know how that didn't get called, but we'll take it. And I'll just show one more. I know you know what happened on this one. I'm just curious from your perspective. Yeah, that's tough because this was a touchdown. This was a touchdown. Correct me if I'm wrong. Looks like we're in a nice little slide protection again. Your guy doesn't come, which is fine. I feel like my center went the wrong way on this one.
I think he did.
I feel like he did. What's going on as far as the calls right here, and how do we miss something that seems so evidently easy to pick up, especially when they're lined up in the A-gap?
I'm trying to actually remember this one, but I think it literally came down to just sliding the wrong way. Me and Kudus in this picture were not in the slide, or we were in the slide, sorry.
Yep.
And, we thought we had that center help. And like you said, it's plays like this that make me think like, if we pick this up, we could possibly be beating Texas. And that just changes our whole season.
I don't know. You can't see the score right here. It's 13-7. Y'all are driving. This is a touchdown, and this is the fourth quarter. You go up against Texas, and you got to think the only thing that really killed the drive, because the defense was killing it that day.
Yeah,
I think there was one or two missed assignments on the defensive side of the ball that we got caught slipping. Outside of that, defense was holding it down. And this is the number 3 team in the country at the time. And so I know this is hard tape to watch, but when I see it, all I've seen so far are things that are fixable. It'd be different if y'all were just guys who couldn't keep up or just trash. That is not the case. I wouldn't waste my time putting all these graphics on the screen trying to explain this stuff, all right? The talent is there, and it's somewhat encouraging that these are just missed assignments in a year-one offense trying to learn the complexities of Coach Petrino and just building trust, all right? So you can see what happened on this play. Runs through free. Center goes the wrong way. Jaquindon was wide open. would have been a nice little touchdown. But then you got plays against some of the best teams in the country. Look at this. I mean, completely on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage, getting great drive off the ball, picking up a 3rd and 2. And then let's get to another play right here. This is back up against your own goal line. Now, this doesn't look like I'm looking at it like this. I see if you follow your fullback right here, unless I'm missing something. If he follows, was that Lassiter? Look at this open up right here.
There's definitely a seam.
Yeah, definitely a seam. I mean, if it's goal line situations in SEC, first of all, it's not going to be pretty. But in my opinion, I felt like y'all did enough front side to get the job done here. I didn't look backside. You backside?
Yeah, I'm backside.
We'll move on. We ain't got to look at it.
Cut that clip out.
Yeah. We won't look at it. It's all good. And then you get to, let's see, another one right here. Another thing that I think will help out our cause is pre-snap recognition. And I'm curious about how much involvement do y'all have in this, okay? So if you look at the tape right now, it's man-to-man across the board. It's as evident can be. And then you're curious about, it looks like they're in zone. But if you take a look at the hashes are huge in college football. I don't know if y'all know in college football, they're much wider in college football than they are the NFL. So it's easier to get pre-snap recognitions based where the safeties are on or outside or inside the hash. And so when you got this guy inside the hash, he's most likely going to rotate to the middle of the field, which usually means it's man-to-man coverage. If that's the case, then this safety down here is going to be responsible for Isaac Tesla, which is a big indicator for the quarterback, like pressure is coming off the edge. If this guy comes off the edge, then it allows all the defensive linemen to slant inside. Is that communication going on up front?
Yeah, so that's in this situation, this would be one where TG should check us into another play. So we have checks that go into blitzes and away from blitzes. And so we'd probably want to go away from this one.
Yep.
And so that's usually up to TG's call. Obviously, we should be having our eyes up in the right shot. The right side should see that, the corner is capped and, he's unlocking. And especially the stances with the D-line, you can kind of see that they're kind of creeping in for that slant movement.
Yeah, and this is another one too. And like I said, opportunities to convert in a big way. That allows them to slant. And you see that guy, is that Braun, kind of has a bad aiming point. That's like the small, intricate details. If you know this stuff as an offensive lineman, it allows you to play that much quicker because you have to get to the point first. I mean, as soon as he was slow with that step, he was beat, especially playing against Ole Miss, the talent that they had up front. But little small pre-snap recognitions are things that I think can give people advantage because imagine if he cuts this off. I mean, another beautiful seam. I mean, he's still running. I mean, so once again, it's all over the tape, Fernando, all over the tape, all these little things that are so fixable. And so I know that's, once again, kind of hard to watch. And I see these things as encouraging moments. And so watching tape, learning from tape, what would you say to people who say their biggest concern right now, can the offensive line protect Taylon Green?
We will protect Taylon Green. I think that's all I got to really say. I've watched all the games from last year, and, we're single plays away from, beating teams, beating some of the top 10 teams. And just the way we've been working as an offensive line, just the brotherhood that we've actually created this year, it doesn't feel like we're teammates. It feels like we're actually family. We've been hanging out each and every weekend, making it a point because, in today's NIL age, we all live on our own. We all have our own things that we could do, but, we're making it a point to get together, be an offensive line, be a true brotherhood. And, that it doesn't just happen in the facilities. It happens off the field. And we've been pushing really hard. And, we know what kind of backfield we have with our running backs and the quarterback that we have back there. And, we're not going to let this opportunity slip from our hands because at the end of the day, we know it comes down to us. And if we can protect and do what we do, Taylon will be a Heisman candidate and we will win a lot of football games and put on for this great state of Arkansas.
Ooh, we're going to clip that one right there. That was a bar. We got some questions in right now. First of all, let me show this one. It says you're his favorite player out of the last few seasons. He's glad you are here. But he wants to ask you,
thanks so much.
Not too late. whether if it's the team or teams in the future, what's the best way to evaluate early on if an O-line is really good or if a D-line is still building? These first couple games, first of all, you don't have to participate in this conversation, all right?
Mhm.
But I hope y'all beat the brakes off of Arkansas State when y'all play in Little Rock, all right? My sister went to A-State. Me at Arkansas, A-State for the past how many years? I don't know. As long as I can remember, been chirping at us like a little annoying, stepbrother or something like that. I hope y'all beat the brakes off of A-State. I will be there. I got you. I win about 50. All right, but we'll leave that alone. But I'm assuming in these first games, a lot like we saw last year, we're going to see a lot of big-time plays. How will we be able to tell if that's going to hold up when SEC play starts?
Yeah, I think the biggest indicator is you got to look at third and longs. That's when stuff gets real here in the SEC and being able to block, those DNs. And so early on in those games, if we were able to, pick up those stunts easy, really lock down those ends and, just kind of communicate where, we don't have people running through A gaps untouched. That's how you're going to have a solid offense line. Like you said earlier, a lot of our issues weren't off of just talent. It was more off of, us just thinking too much and just letting people go right through the gaps. So I think that's the early indicator, the offensive line is humming and, working well.
We got a lot of new players, all right, and so let's talk about a few of them before we wrap this up.
Let's do
it. You're playing a new position as well, all right. You were left tackle last year. You moved inside to guard, which I think is a perfect fit for you. Me personally, but everybody said, can he make the move? He was our best offensive lineman last year. The thing about Fernando Carmona that a lot of people may not know, dude is a certified athlete. All right. If you don't believe me, I like doing my research. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this back up. A little high school tape right here. All right. Dude was a baller in high school. At first, I was like, is that him? Yeah. I mean, look at this tape. He's number 24. We got post game going strong, getting buckets on the court. Give me that real quick. I mean, I didn't know that was you at first, but when I listened to the tape, they say Fernando Carmona. Obviously, fun playing basketball. A lot different build back in the day, right?
Just a little bit. I mean, I think just a little bit skinnier, facial hair. But yeah, no, man, this is where the roots all started. This is where, I felt like I could be the athlete I am today. As you can see, not getting too far off the ground. Didn't really have any hops.
No,
but,
I got some clips,
straight up bruiser.
Look at this. Come on, little man. Look at him. Yeah. Look at the swagger right here. He say he too little. I also got a clip right here. You said not high off the ground. Hold on now. Look at my guy coming down the court right here. Off the backboard, puts it down. Come on. And look, he's pointing up. It looked like he wanted the oop.
I wanted the lob. I was feeling it.
But you see him circled right here. Look at this.
Funny story about this one. That was at my dad's alma mater too, so I had to put on and show out a little bit.
Time real quick. That's on Pops right there. That's for you, Pops.
Shout out Pops.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. And so I love showing this because I think some of the best athletes are basketball players, especially when you put them on a football field, and they're just the versatility that they have. And I can tell that you really took a professional step forward in the offseason because one, you have that ability. And then you started getting into Pilates, all right? And so about taking care of the body. You don't see too many 300-pound plus men hopping on one of those reformers, taking care of the body. What was the thought process of making sure that you start doing stuff like this to get ready for the season?
Yeah, man. I was lucky enough to kind of get some just kind of some information from like the league, and a lot of people were saying I was stiff. And, last year I felt kind of stiff and, my hips were hurting, my back were hurting a lot during the season. And, I was just kind of looking around and I was like, let me try out Pilates for a week. And after that first week, I was like, dude, it was the hardest thing I've ever done. Yeah. I had like 70-year-old women just kicking my butt in there.
Oh,
so
man,
that was like my first motivation.
You should go to a bar class, see what they do in there, man. This stuff's intense, all right? It's intense.
So after that, I was like, yeah, I got to keep doing this. My body started feeling really good, and I started feeling a lot more nimble, and that was just kind of my thing. And, some of my teammates started hopping on with it. And so it's just kind of fun little thing that we kind of do outside of football. It's just a lot different than the strength that we do in football. So it's a lot of fun.
You know, I got into Pilates once I went to the NFL. That's why I was so curious that you did this, because like, who's telling him to do this? Because I think it's great. The way it was explained to me, people always talk about a bow and arrow, right? The more tension that's on that bow and arrow, it's harder to pull back, right? It gets real tight, real tough. But the more you're able to pull it back, the more explosive that it will go forward. And I was just like, okay, fine, I'll get Pilates. It makes sense to me when you say it like that. Yeah, it just makes sense. So you've taken the steps necessary in the off season, I'm sure, in the strength room. Have y'all started doing your maxing and all that stuff yet? Have y'all done your testing? So all that's done, right?
Yep, all done.
Yeah, now it's time to go ahead and get to business. And so a lot of people want to know, what's it going to look like? I'm going to pull up a couple things. We talked about this before we kind of got started, but this was from last year. Grant Cook, after spring ball, he put together who he thought the starters were going to be. You don't have to tell me who they're going to be unless you want to tell me and get in trouble later, but you don't have to. All right, but you can see we got our transfer from Georgia Tech, Corey Robinson. He's been doing great at left tackle. I feel like that's a lock, in my opinion. We got Fernando Carmona. I'm assuming is a lock at left guard.
I'm hoping so too.
All right.
Hoping so too.
And then this is where it gets interesting on the rest. You got our transfer. Is he from Central Florida? Am I making that UCF?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, UCF.
Yeah, you got it from UCF, going to be at your center. Feel pretty confident about that. Then you got Kobe Brennan. We didn't get to see a lot of him during spring ball because he was hurt. But I know we've seen some things. Now, you've also said that Blackstock been working his tail off, all right? And so I'm very curious. And we got Edmondson on the roster too. Very interested to see the battle that goes on there. And then you got a Marion Harris, who was our right tackle last year. Then you got this other guy coming in. I don't know if y'all heard of him. His name's Big Shaq, all right? That 6'8", 419. I'm just kidding. He's about like 380 pounds. But I heard he's been working out, been losing weight. When I saw him at spring ball, I saw a guy who has all the potential of the world, but it may take some time. I think he was stiff in his hips, struggled with his footwork, understanding the ins and outs of an offense, made him play a little bit slower than he needed to. Run blocking I thought was great. Thought we had to work on the pass pro quite a bit. His high school tape looks amazing, but when you play against some dogs, it's a little different ball game. And so I'm very curious about his progress. Anything you can say about Big Shaq and what he's looked like during the offseason?
Yeah, no, he's, like you said, he's been losing a lot of weight, and he's really just changed his mindset. Obviously he's a younger guy. He's a redshirt freshman, I want to say, or he might be a true freshman still. I'm not 100% sure. But I think each and every day he's starting to realize, like, okay, I have a chance to be the starting right tackle for Arkansas. And so, he's really putting in that work in the weight room, and his mind is starting to shift towards that. Like, I got to start acting like a starter. And that starts with, how I take care of my body, how I practice, how I lift. And, I've definitely seen him taking that next step. And it's been really cool to watch this because, when you're a younger guy, you think you have all this time in the world. And I think Shaq kind of realized, you know what, I could be great right now. What was saying, DJ? I can't hear you.
I think we have an echo here, so I try to mute it when you talk. My bad. Sorry if y'all are struggling with that echo on stream. So one thing that's popped up, and Coach Sam Pittman, offensive line guru. A lot of people have said, what is the deal? How do we have one of the best offensive line coaches seeming to have struggled building a consistent offensive line? I would always argue the point. It's a little bit different being a head coach than just a offensive line coach. A lot more things to worry about. But Coach Mateos, seems like y'all are really gelling well with him. Didn't y'all bring in another offensive line coach, assistant, or something like that? Yeah, Coach Brown seems to, y'all are really gelling. It's like y'all got so many coaches now putting an emphasis on this offensive line. Do you think y'all will be the most improved position group on the team this year?
Yes, sir. I know for a fact we will be, just because, like you said, this is our second year in Petrino's offense. We have Coach Mateos. This is our second year with him. We know what kind of philosophy he likes to go by, what he likes to see, what he wants to hear from us in the meeting room. And then with this addition of Coach Brown, he's been great because, he's a younger guy. He's been bringing the energy to practice, and he's been helping us a lot off the field, just trying to get us right and helping us a lot during these OTAs, kind of running it as, he was a head offensive line coach at want to say Alabama State or somewhere. And so he knows what it takes to be that offensive line head coach. And so he's been helping us a lot during this offseason, and he's been a great addition. So we're definitely going to be much more improved, and we will. I mean, you guys will see.
No, I can't wait, especially when y'all rock Arkansas State. SEC Media Days just wrapped up, and they came out with their projected rankings of where the teams will fall at the end of the year. Out of the 16 teams in the SEC, the media, dang, is that me? Technically, my bad. They have y'all at 14th. What do you guys say about that?
Yeah, it ain't nothing new, man. You know, they've always counted us out as long as I've been here. You know, the media never gives us any credit. And, you know, we do have 30 new transfers, so they don't know what we have, and that's fair. And, you know, they're going to find out come, you know, this August and September. You know, Arkansas, the Hogs are, you know, they're a different team than they were last year. And, you know, this offense is going to put up a lot of points, and it's going to be a lot of fun to cheer for the Hogs this year.
I like it. Real quick before I let you go, I don't know a lot about what our defensive line is going to look like. A guy on tape last year, and you can clip this and send it to him because I'm one of his biggest fans and also one of his biggest critics, Quincy Rhodes Jr. I've seen clips on tape where this dude looks like a top 5 draft pick. I've never seen anything like it. He has the size, he has the explosiveness, but I can only get one of those plays out of every 10, you know? And so I saw it all over the tape, and I just wish I could tell him, like, you have so much God-given talent, and when you flip the switch, you are unstoppable. Unstoppable. He really is when he wants to be that guy. What's his progress been like? You know, have you seen that in him, and has he finally tried to get out of his own way?
Yeah, no, definitely. He's definitely taken a major step. I've been lucky enough. Coach Souders actually put him with me in the weight room this year. And so I've been working with him a lot. And just, you know, I tell him each and every day, I'm like, dude, you could leave after this year and be a first-round pick. But it's up to you. And, you know, when he has his bad days, you know, I get into him and I let him know, like, this is not it. And, you know, he's been really responsive of it. And he, you know, he's kind of taken it as an adult, and he's been taking it as, you know, I'm going to do this. And I definitely think he's going to take this next step because, like you said, that kid is talented. And I'm so excited to watch him play because he's really worked hard, and, you know, it's going to show off for him. I know it will.
We got a lot of people in the chat right now. I'm trying to read this, make sure nobody acting crazy up in here. Let me pull that up real quick. I can't get to all these. Like I said, Fernando's we got stuff to do. But Jim Gubb can't wait for football season. People asking about Brenham. People saying we got to move Hogs up to 7, not 14. And I think, like I said, I feel a lot better because I watched the tape. I know what's on what the ceiling is for y'all this year. If you were to pick one game that you're most excited for this year, that's tough. And you shouldn't be playing this game anyway, but just for my entertainment and our viewers online and here, I don't want to say where I am because, you know, nowadays with all the NIL stuff, what would you say the game is you're most looking forward to?
Ole Miss. I need him.
What about that?
I need him, man.
With Kudus? He was like, I'm not going anywhere. Coach Pittman's my dog. I'm locked in. I'm going to keep my red shirt so I can stay here. And then he's gone. I mean, I know you shouldn't probably weigh in on that, but I'm going to ask anyway. Were you like, damn, what's happening, man? I thought we was cool.
It killed me. It definitely killed me on the inside, man, because that was someone I got really close with here in Arkansas. And, you know, he was one of the most down to earth, one of the most hog till I die kind of guys. So for that to happen, I was just like, I don't even know. It was definitely, it hurt me in the heart. It hurt me in the heart. And, you know, I think that's why I can't wait for week 3.
I can't wait for week 3 either. I mean, they came to Arkansas and you saw what it was like on the sideline over there with those guys. Watching that as a player, I mean, you got guys over there doing TikTok dances. They got that dang little fire extinguisher. They got the basketball goal doing a dunk contest. I mean, how do you does that not just drive you mad as a player?
I hate them. Like, just the way they act. And I mean, they had every right to act that way that night. that day. I mean, they put belt to ass to us. Sorry, I know this is a family, but that
we got. I see. Like, I don't think this one's old enough to realize what you just said. I think you're good. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really extremely disrespectful, especially it being on our field. And I think everyone in the building that was here last year knows what week 3 will look like and what that practice will look like, and we will get our revenge.
Oh, I can't wait, man. That's going to be fun. That is week 3, fresh off a dismantling of Arkansas State down in Little Rock.
We got you.
I'm just going to ride that till the wheels fall off. But, man, I'm excited for you. We are now how many days away from first game? That's practice. First game, 11 days away from practice. If I read this right, y'all got 29 days to get in 25 practices. I'm going to pray for you, all right? That sounds awful. That does sound awful. I got plenty of prayers going your way, but I'm excited to watch you this year. I'm excited to watch y'all compete. But like I said, here on 4th and 5 each and every week. And I'll tell you this, too. If you're ever interested in making this a weekly thing, I can talk to some people and make it happen, put a little cheddar in your pocket. I know how things work nowadays, all right? But if that's not the case, let people know when they can watch you on your podcast, Pin and Pull.
Yep. Pin and Pull will be starting back up here soon in the upcoming weeks, and we'll be recording every Sunday, probably posting every Monday. Thank you so much again, DJ, for having me on, man. My pops loves this show. My brother loves the show. You do a great job of breaking down the film. I even be watching during the week. So, we might have to be in talks of, doing something together. But
yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on, man.
Hey, man, no time. As long as Coach Petrino don't yell at me for saying too many things that I don't need to be saying, I think we can make something shake. But, hey, man, good luck to you. Hope you stay healthy, man. Just lead those guys, man. Guys like you make a difference in this team. Larry Worth, I love his vocal. Cam Ball, Soar, you said them all. Now, as we go, I know this really isn't TG's thing. If he get a little bit more vocal, I would love it. I'm just saying it. I mean, it's just, it's okay. But I know that's not his thing, but I think it'd go a long way. Maybe you can help him out with that. All right,
I'll try.
Good one, man. All right. Do you go to class? Do y'all even do that now since you got all that?
No, I'm done. I'm graduated.
Wow.
I'm graduated. I'm done.
So what do you
I'm
do?
done.
You don't have to do anything?
I have classes, but those will come in August.
I had those classes too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We'll handle those when they come down the road.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Have a good one, man.
Y'all.
I'm gonna let you go. Y'all stick with us on the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and take Carmona out of here. Go Hogs. All right, y'all. So that was fun. I always have a great time with Carmona. Before we wrap things up, I always want to give a shout out. I am here in Hot Springs. I didn't want to say that while he was here because, players and casinos and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. But I always want to thank Oaklawn for being a part of what we do here in 4th and 5. And especially, I would say my new favorite team, probably in the whole state. We got the Wise Guys in the house. Now, they showed out last week. Is AD here? Man, this dude, come over here real quick, man. I don't have an extra mic for you, but dadgummit, this dude made a catch, y'all. I don't know how you do it, man. Completely knocked out over the guardrail, and then you got up and swagged. I just had to show him some love. You see him here on the screen. This dude right here caught it over the thing, got knocked out, and swagged. Before you go, look, grab this for me, man. Look, I got you some new merch, man. You keep on just this one. Yeah, open that. I got that one for you. Open it up real quick. You keep on having catches like that. I saw Ambrose's nice little swag, his little scramble in the backfield doing his thing. Yeah, sure, right there. You see that? Got to give him. I'm gonna start putting y'all's numbers on the back like that too. You like that? All right, man. Congratulations, man. I have to show you some love for that catch. Y'all got to come out here and watch the Wise Guys, man. Last game is going to be this Saturday. All right, 7:00 here in Hot Springs. That's Convention Center. Tickets $10. All right, come out. They're charging not enough, in my opinion. All right, so take advantage of it now. Such a really cool experience. So much entertainment. You're going to see guys scrambling around. I got my guys wearing the merch here, too. And I think, are we up for playoffs? Are we in or are we up? We're in it? We ain't got to win this weekend? I mean, we got to win this weekend. All right, yeah. I know we're going to win this weekend. And I guess I'll figure out the details on what that looks like. Where the playoff game's going to be? They're going to be here or? Okay, so once they win this Saturday, they're going to have home field advantage. I love it, man. I'm locked in. The Wise Guys are awesome. So I always appreciate the support that I have for y'all and that y'all have for me as well. So much fun. Really encourage y'all to come out here and hang out with the Wise Guys. And one more thing. Hold on one second. Sorry. I got to show y'all something real quick. Stand by. Actually, David, can you hand me something real quick? I got to put him in. So this is my nephew. Y'all are going to see walk behind me. He has a couple more good performances as a way of making it on 4th and 5's official staff. Can you hand me the water bottles real quick? We got to tighten up a few things, but we getting there. All right. I want to give a shout out to Alex Shirley in the house. All right. One of our big supporters. He has a company. Look, can I give a shout out? Look at this. I'm gonna crack one of these open. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. It really does mean a lot to me. But look at this. We got our own now little 4th and 5 water bottles. All right. So when we get thirsty and hydrated, Miss Donna, we're going to get you about 20 of these for that first game up in Fayetteville. Okay. So you don't pass out. All right. Alex, what's the name of the company? That's pretty. Yes, that's pretty spot on. The company is called Personalized Bottled Water. Can't make it up, right? Yeah, that's an easy Google search right there. All right, so once again, we have a fun little trivia lined up for you. And I know we're going to do for my wise guys who sometimes like to go a little nostalgia. Yes, we can do the whole Disney Pixar if you really wanted a shot. All right, that's Ambrose's favorite for some reason. But for the adults here in the room, we're going to do another trivia as well, and we're going to mix it up and match. And I always encourage people to come out, and if you want to play trivia in person, we're going to give away up to $100, then $50, then $30. We got some swag. We got more cash prizes. And mark your calendars for August 11th, all right? I've been on the phone back and forth. Former Razorback head coach Houston Nutt will be in the house, and I'm very excited about that. And I've already started making some phone calls to get some big-time former Razorbacks in the house to hang out with Coach Nutt that night as well. August 11th will be the date. And I want to give a shout-out to the main line for adding a new special to Monday nights. What is it? 12-ounce steaks? 16-ounce steaks for $12? What are we doing? Giving away food here. At the main. Is that it? Did I say that right? $12 for a 16-ounce steak? What are we doing? All right. Y'all coming out to the Mainline Sports Bar, always taking care. I'm going to end the stream. Thank y'all for watching 4th and 5. Everybody here, get ready to play some Pixar Disney trivia. That'll be game 2. Game 2. All right. Will that work? You want to play Pixar Disney? Yeah. Why they get pumped up about Pixar? All right. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate y'all. And one more big thanks to Fernando.